Okay, so if you remember at the beginning, we say that in the OMA control, I will say, or influence, was to go through 5 different items. The next one I have here is GitHub. And you say, well, what control you have over GitHub? The idea is to develop the specifications, the OMA specifications in GitHub. We started already last week, the pilot. We have about 3 different enablers. They are already building the technical documents in HTML, and GitHub is going to be the place where we are going to do the version control. And in addition of all the benefits that this could have, for us it's going to be internally, it's going to reduce the amount of work they represent in the development of the specifications. There is a lot of red tape. This is not being seen even for our members, but the staff has to be working behind the scenes, moving papers from one place to another, applying change requests by hand, and do a lot of reviews that in specific documents to do reviews. Where you move in GitHub, all of that is being already integrated and is much easier. So the outcome, what the industry is going to see, let me take you just through this particular presentation. What we have in the bottom side is OMA members. So if you are working around here, this is only for OMA members. You need to have an account, and you will be working in your personal repository and making commitments, submissions into the development branch inside of OMA. As I always say, around here we have probably top about 100 people that can potentially be working in these specifications. But if you go to about the line, is in the public arena, and with personal repositories, you have about something like a 3.5 million developers. They have an account in GitHub. So the idea is, as I said, the pilot is focusing only in the half bottom of the slide, where the members, they will be submitting their changes in the documentation. Remember, this is for documentation initially, in the development branch. And at a certain point, the things that you see from OMA is when we go public. And it's when you go in the websites that you have to figure out where is all this information, and eventually you may find that we have buried somewhere in the website the PDF. So what is going to happen is that we can move from the development area into the public arena. And in the public arena is where you can see here the public review. This is where OMA is exposing the technical specifications in HTML format. And at the same time, the toolkit that we have been developing here, all of that is going to be exposed at that time as well. So Matthias, in the case of lightweight end-to-end, has developed this client simulator. We are going to develop the server simulator. All of that is already in our public site. Svante, you will see later on, he has developed a tool to create objects for device management and lightweight end-to-end, and that information is going to be, in the next few days, is going to be as well exposed in GitHub. So all of that is going to be open for comments for the industry, and then eventually we'll go into the what we call the final publication, where it will be as well probably in like in a wiki or something like that, and it will be published for anyone to take with all the different repositories for the tools, for the specifications. All of this is in pilot. I guess towards the end of Q3, we will have already good an idea how all this is going to play. Internally, there's a lot of challenges for us, because that means that we are going to start using tools that we never used before, and this is always challenging, and at the same time implies that we need to change a little bit our processes. So it will take us a little bit time, but there are already some groups in OMA that they are already doing all the work in GitHub. And the reason they have done that is because they are developing test cases, and specifically they are using it for the TTCN3 code, which is very suitable, as you know, in GitHub. So it's coming, and we will have, by the end of Q3, we will have some results to share. In terms of how it's working, I'm not going to go into much detail. You can copy into your personal repository, you elaborate, and you submit. As you know, in OMA, we have the IPR and declarations, so when we go into the public arena, there will be a copyright that you need to comply with, and then when you submit any comments as well, it will be some kind of IPR cleaning on there. And then when we go into the publication branch, which is that basically you take it from here, it will be as HTML, and we are not expecting back any feedback at that point. All the feedback should go here into the public review, where we are going to use GitHub as a way to communicate. Once the specifications are defined, or not defined, it's published and approved, go into publication and you can take it. Nevertheless, could be some feedback. It will come through this or the public review. So moving on to the next thing is about the ecosystem. And this is, as I said before, in my point of view, this is the most important aspect of all of this. We try to eliminate the barriers between standards and the developers. OMA tried to do it several times. And in a way, we were not able to put something together that it makes sense, or it was something that you can see in a way. Other organizations, standards organizations, they have exactly the same problem. One end-to-end, there was a Congress workshop in December, and they were talking about how we can reach the developer, how we can talk to the developer, how we can get feedback from the developer. So what we have here is standards working in an ivory tower, totally isolated from the rest of the world. We have about, as I said before, probably 100 people contributing systematically in OMA, and we can have in lightweight end-to-end, probably you will reduce to about 20 people. And these people, they obviously coming with the ideas from their companies and the work they're doing, but we have no other influence from the outside. So if we go and create this community, and I use Stack Overflow because obviously everyone knows about this. And when I say create the communities, to belong to this community is like when someone, they say, okay, is anyone want to speak Spanish? It's let's go to meet 5 o'clock on Friday in this pub. And if you just go there, you just come along and say, okay, what is your level of Spanish? Oh, you're pretty good. So you sit down here and I just talk to these guys that, they are in advance. So this is something like that. It's a community, they organize themselves. OMA, the only purpose, and you will see, is just to listen to what the community has to say. So that we will come with the OMA Developer Toolkit, the 5 different tools that we talked about before, which is the technical specifications in web-based documentation. We will have the technical summary. We will have as well the lightweight end-to-end, in this case the kit that Matthias has developed for us. And then we will have, what was the other one we have? Say again? The editor, here you are, I was thinking of that. We have the editor, and we have the editor for the objects, and Omna for the registration. And then there are, in part of this community as well, not related with OMA, but Eclipse took the initiative to take the specifications and develop a test server. They are all, as we saw from Julian, they have different initiatives on there. Some of them related with lightweight end-to-end, other ones they are not. Then we have Antonio, they come along and say, well, lab kit, we are going to put something together for people to start playing around. And by the way, all the code, we put it in GitHub, you take it, evolve it. Obviously, we will be quite happy to get feedback and see how we can continue evolving this kit. And we have, in this week here, has been discussions with information that say, hey, we can put a server out there. We have the test cases for OMA lightweight end-to-end, and you can go through this list of test cases and just click and test yourself, and it will be online. We talked as well with Michael, and he said, well, with ARM, we have this IDE that we can, you guys is available there, and we can just talk about this and see how all these things in the specific case of lightweight end-to-end, what is the needs. If someone come along and say, lightweight end-to-end protocol is rubbish, so okay, Good. Why? What we miss? Because the idea of all of that, and that is the intention, is just to listen to the community and then take back the feedback into OMA. And the feedback we are using tools that is well known by the developers. Stack Overflow is the community, and the way we can feedback this into the standards is through GitHub. And obviously, as I say, this is a pilot. We are working through all of this. I know there's going to be a lot of challenges in the path, but let's see. And for sure, by the end of the year, we will have already some clear results about how we are doing. The next step that we have in this is building the community. And I think we are going to start today. We are getting a lot of questions through the live stream. Time is quite tight. In fact, it's telling me I should finish off already. And we will just to take these questions, and we will find a way to start spinning out of here, put the questions out there, and for people to start answering already. Okay?